To be honest, I am not exactly sure why I turned on my camera to film this video, but I have been in my feelings in the last couple of days. I just thought to just turn on my camera and just talk, because I feel like talking can be very therapeutic for me. And if you have not been sleeping under a rock, you definitely know that a few days ago, Nigeria lost one of its most prominent actors, and news broke on social media about it, and the entire Nigerian social media space and beyond has been in a frenzy, has been in tears. I recall vividly where I was when I found out that Alexx Ekubo had passed away. I was actually in the salon a couple of days ago to get my nails done and to redo my cornrows, wash my hair, get cornrows done under my wig, all of those things. And I just opened my Instagram and my Instagram refreshed and I saw his photograph. And I recall that he has been away from social media for a long time, like since the end of 2024. And we are in May 2026. I recalled that people have been wondering where he was, what he's been up to, hoping he's okay. So when I saw his picture, before I even saw the caption, my first thought was, is Alex back to Instagram, and all of that? And then I scrolled and I saw the caption. And I recall vividly that I was in shock for like a few seconds. I was literally like this. And then my phone rang. My sister was calling me because she just got to my house. And before she could even say anything, I was like, have you heard? And she was like, heard what? I said, you will not believe it. And then I told her what I just saw on my Instagram. She was just screaming. I believe that was a reaction that so many Nigerians would have had when they saw this pop up on their social media. When we spoke for a bit and she hung up, I went back to Instagram to be sure that it wasn't a hoax or, it was not play. And then the more I scrolled, the more other blogs were posting about it. Even blogs that I know would really confirm something before they post about it started to post about it, and it dawned on me. And I'm just like, what in the world? Like, the shocking part for me was that's why he's been away all this time from social media. And, different blogs were carrying what caused, his passing. Some blogs were saying it was liver cancer. Some blogs were saying it was kidney cancer. Some blogs were saying it was, I think there was even a blog I saw that said it was colorectal cancer. But I mean, in the last few days, we have seen the outpouring of, love from his friends, his colleagues, from Nigerians as a whole. I feel like Alex's passing has really shaken up a lot of people, including a lot of people that didn't even know him personally, me inclusive. And I feel like that's why I have been in my feelings in the last couple of days. I have really, really been in my feelings because it's a harsh reminder about how fickle life is. And I feel like I am one of those people who always remembers every day I wake up, I remember that day is a blessing. I remember that that I'm alive today is a blessing. I remember that there's a thin line between life and death. I remember that life is very fickle. And I remind myself that a lot of the things that are issues in people's lives at the end of the day are not going to matter when God calls you. And what is very painful for me about this is that Alexx Ekubo was such a young person. I mean, he was just 40 years old. I recall that he took a step back from social media because he was being bullied a lot. He was being dragged on social media after his, previous engagement had ended. What pained me the most about his passing was, one, it was sudden, and not just sudden. I feel like it was sudden for everybody who didn't know what he was battling behind closed doors. And it was crazy that even people who were supposedly close to him, a lot of his colleagues had no idea he was battling cancer behind closed doors, except I believe his very, 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 very close friends, the very close small circle. But from the posts I've been seeing on social media from celebrities and people who were supposedly his colleagues, a lot of them were left in the dark about what was going on in his life. And I believe that was how he wanted it to be. Sometimes people don't want the world to know what they are battling, their private battles. And I have been so overwhelmed by the number of posts I've been seeing about people who had no idea what he was going through. People who have worked with him in the past, people who have been on movie projects with him in the past, people who actually checked up on him the last 1.5 years that he's been away from social media, people who have sent him messages, people who have called and he would always say, I'm good. That was what he was telling, like, literally everybody. But behind the scenes, he was fighting something so serious. It has gotten me in my feelings so much, you guys, in the last couple of days. The last time I believe I felt like this about someone passing away was, I think, when Chadwick Boseman passed away. I think I had this, feelings as well. And also when Rico Suave passed away years ago, I had these feelings as well. The thing is, it is always a harsh reminder for me every time something like this happens. It is always a harsh reminder that life is so fickle. Like, the concept of death and dying and leaving this world as it is something that I have never really been able to really wrap my head around and really understand. Because one thing about death that really, really triggers me, or that really, really makes me think, is the finality of it, like how final it is. That is too final. Like, it is such a, it's too final. You can see somebody today, hale and hearty, and tomorrow, they tell you that the person is no more. And it's like you will never see that person again in this world. When I tell you guys, that is the part that baffles me the most. The finality. I think I've said this before on my channel here, when I've lost, relations and people who were like friends, or, I've lost people also that hits close to home a couple of times. I mean, relations or friends. I've lost some friends. I've lost relations. So I have seen, and in my head, I'm just like, how is it that this person, as long as I'm in this world, I will never see this person again? Like, it is the most nerve-wracking thing ever. Like, I can never wrap my head around that thing. Like, I can never understand it. I've tried to understand, and I can never ever understand. In the last couple of days, social media has been flooded with tributes for Alexx Ekubo, and for every post I see, I'm like, so this guy is gone. Like, so this guy is gone. I recall vividly his last movie that I watched. That was Afamefuna on Netflix. And I absolutely enjoyed that movie. I loved that movie so much. I loved his role in Afamefuna. I love how he embodied that character. I enjoyed it so much. And I feel like that was one of Alex's very first movies that I was seeing, that his character really, like, I don't know how to describe it, but his character in that movie was one that I had never seen him act before. I was really impressed by the way he brought that character to life, the way he embodied that character, and his overall performance in that movie was like a 10 over 10. I loved it so much. And I'm just like, but that was not even too long ago when I watched that movie. I recall when it hit Netflix, that was when I watched it, because I didn't go to the cinema to see it when it was in the cinema. I recall watching that movie. I recall making my mom watch that movie, and I recall us hoping, I think he was actually nominated for an AMVCA for that role that year, I think. I can't remember. And I don't even recall now if he won the award or if he didn't, but I recall rooting for him to win that award so bad. And I am one of those people that has been wondering what has been up with him in the last 1.5 years. So to see that all this time he's been battling something as difficult, something as hard, something as serious as advanced kidney cancer blows my mind. It blows my mind. One, this thing called cancer has left the elderly people now. I feel like back in the day, when you hear that somebody has cancer, it's usually middle-aged people from 50 and above. But these days, cancer is ravaging the youth. Cancer is ravaging the young people. You would hear that somebody died of cancer at 20-something years old, 30-something years old. And in Alex's case now, 40 years old. It's mind-blowing. I'm so heartbroken. I didn't know him personally, but it's painful. Like, it's very painful to see such a young, bright star go like that. It's so painful. Like, I've been in my feelings, I've been in doubt. I don't forget the day this news broke. That night, I couldn't sleep. For some reason, I had a very, very rough night. I kept tossing and turning, waking up from sleep. Like, I had a very, very rough night. Like, and I'm just like, I don't even know this guy personally, but what is paining me so, like, it's tugging at my heart. At the end of the day, life is just a journey. We are all on our individual journeys. And none of us is getting out of life alive. It's a harsh reminder. It's a harsh reminder that every single day counts. And I'm even happy that he took that time away from social media. He didn't bring his health issues to social media. Nobody knew about it. Even people that were close to him did not even know that he was battling this thing. I cut cap for his close circle, his family and his very close friends who knew about this. I cut cap for them that nobody leaked anything. Nobody said anything. Like, they allowed him go through this as privately as he wanted to. The same thing with Chadwick Boseman when he was fighting cancer. That was the same thing. I believe that for somebody who was diagnosed with a terminal illness like that, he probably had time to put his life and home and family in order. You know, when you have been given that kind of diagnosis by doctors, they will tell you the worst that can happen. And I believe he had a bit of time to prepare himself. And from people's posts that knew about this and who were by his side until the very last day, you know, they said that, you know, he knew God, he made peace with it, and all of that. And that is beautiful. Not a lot of people who have left this world had time to do all of those things. Not a lot of people who left this world had time to put their lives in order, put their home in order, put their families in order because of the manner of which they died. Either suddenly somebody just slumped and died, or somebody went to bed and did not wake up, or somebody got into a car to go somewhere and had an accident on the road, or somebody got into a plane and the plane crashed suddenly. Like, there was no plan, there was no inkling, there was no premonition, there was nothing to make that person believe that they will not see the next day. And a lot of people are not going to leave this world with the time that they think that they need. A lot of people are not going to see old age. And that's just how life is. It's our prayer every day. Like, see, I pray every day that we all die at a ripe old age. You know, we see our children's children and even our children's children. That's the prayer that all of us are praying. But the reality is that that is not going to be the case for everybody. That is why I have been in my feelings. That is not going to be the case for everybody. Not everybody's going to get to old age and die peacefully in their sleep at a ripe old age of 90-something years. Not everybody. People have died young or middle age. That's just how life is. Sometimes through sickness. Sometimes through sickness that can even give you time to put your affairs in order. Sometimes suddenly, and nobody even prays for that. God forbid for anybody. But it just reminds me about how they say, live every day like it's your last, because you don't even know if you're going to see tomorrow. You don't even know if you're going to sleep tonight and wake up tomorrow. Like, that's the mind-blowing part about life. I believe that if everybody knew the day they were going to die, the world would be a better place. If everybody knew the date God was going to call them, the world would be so much better. But people carry on with their lives as if they know the day God is going to call them. They carry on with their lives as if they have all the time in the world. Whereas you don't know. You just don't know. Why are you living your life as if, after all, I have 10, 20, 30 more years? You don't know that. Why are you fighting with your family as if you have all the time in the world to reconcile with them? Why are you being a terrible friend to your friends, thinking that you have arrived and you have it all and you can treat people anyhow, thinking that you have all the time in the world to make amends? Nobody told you that you have all the time in the world. It's a harsh reminder. Every time something like this happens, oh my goodness, you guys, it is a harsh reminder that it can be any time. It can be anybody. What happened to Alexx can happen to anyone. He didn't know he would leave this world at the age of 40 years old. If you had asked him 10 years ago, he probably would have said, no, not me. And it just pushes me to just be a better person. And it should push you also to be a better person. Be a better father. Be a better brother. Be a better husband. Be a better wife. Be a better sister. Be a better friend. Be a better human being to the people around you because you don't know. And one thing I'm glad about is that I always tell myself this every single day, even before any of this happened. I always tell myself that last, we don't know. I'm going to be the best version of myself today. I wake up the following day, I say the same thing like that every single day. Because you guys just don't know. My thoughts and prayers are with Alex's family and very close friends who saw him battle this behind closed doors and who were there for him. I can't even begin to imagine how they feel, having lost him so young. I hear he got married secretly. I can't even begin to imagine how his wife is feeling, his parents, his siblings, his nephew, his nieces, because he was so close to his family. It's mind-boggling, you guys. This video had no scripts. This video had no... Normally, I would like draft my talking points for like my sit-down videos, but this video had no scripts. This video had no points. I just turned on my camera. I'm just like, you know what? Let me just talk and just... Maybe when I talk, it eases off the burden, you know? And this also like prompted me, you know, to take my mental health seriously. In the last couple of days, I removed myself from some certain toxic situations for my own mental health. And I recall that day, I was just, I saw myself, I felt myself breaking down. You guys know how you are in a situation and you feel yourself just breaking down. You feel yourself like losing yourself. And I had to talk to myself and take back my everything from that situation. And the only way was to remove myself completely from that situation. I recall that I am a wife, I am a mother, and I want to be the best wife, the best mom to my kids. And I cannot let outside noise mess with me. Life is too fickle and too short for that. I cherish my happiness and my joy and my peace more now than ever. At this point in my life, I'll be 37 in July. And I feel like at this point in my life, I don't have room for negativity. I don't. I just want to surround myself, surround my life with positivity, peace, happiness, and joy. Like literally, if not for any reason, for the reason that life is too short. Life is too short to not live your best life, to not be happy. Life is too short. Your life can change like this in minutes, in seconds. Like this, snap of a finger. I beg, if I keep talking, we'll be here till tomorrow. But this is just food for thoughts for you, just in case you're watching this and life has not humbled you. Do not wait until life humbles you before you become a better person. Do not wait. Trust me. You think you have time? You do not have that much time. None of us do. We are only on this earth for a short amount of time before God calls us at whatever ages or however way. You don't have to. Tomorrow is not promised. Tomorrow has never been promised. So do that thing you want to do tomorrow. Do it today. I basically just wanted to come and share my feelings here in this video. And I hope you guys enjoyed watching this. I hope somebody could relate with this. I hope this video touches somebody to change. I really do hope. And I pray for the repose of Alexx Ekubo's soul. And I pray that God grants him eternal rest and grants his family the fortitude to bear this loss, because it is a massive one. I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.